In this video, you will learn how to determine an equation of a line. So there's three different levels of difficulty when trying to determine or write an equation of a line. The first level is when everything is given to you. So for example, if the slope is 5 over 3 and the y-intercept is -2, and you're told to write the equation. Well, what you want to do is write this in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. So instead of m, we can put in a 5 over 3, and instead of b, we put in a -2. So my equation would be y equals 5 over 3x minus 2. Here's another example. Slope is -2 and y-intercept is 3 over 4. So again, we're going to use slope-intercept form. Slope is -2, and that's going to be your m value. B is your y-intercept, and that is 3 over 4. So my equation would be y equals -2x plus 3 over 4. Level 2 difficulty is when you are given the slope, but you do not know the y-intercept. So what we must do is we have to figure out the y-intercept based off this point and the slope. So we know it's going to look like this, y equals mx plus b. And we know m already is -2 over 5. Okay, that's your m value. So we can plug that in for m to get y equals -2/5 x plus b. So the question comes down to is what is b? Well, I can use the other piece of information that I know. So I know this point 4, -3. I know that 4 is my x value and -3 is my y value. And this point will fall on the line. So what I can do is I can plug these values in for x and y and use that to find what is b. So let's do that. We have, instead of y, we put -3, and instead of x, we put a 4. Now from here, we can solve this for b. -2/5 times 4, or times 4 over 1, would give me -8 over 5. So now, to solve for b, we can simply add 8 over 5 to both sides. When I add 8 over 5 on the right side, this will cancel out. Then I add 8 over 5 on the left side. So I have -3 plus 8 over 5. And to add these together, I need a common denominator. So -3, I need to write as something over 5. So I can write that as -15 over 5, because that is the same thing as -3. And then I add that with 8 over 5. So -15 plus 8 would give me -7 over 5. So I simply plug this in for b, right here. So instead of -2/5 x plus b, we now have -2/5 x minus 7 over 5. And this should be 7 over 5. All right, so this would be my equation right here. Okay, let's try another one. So here we have a line that contains the point 1, 3 and has a slope of 2. So I know it's going to look like this, where I have y equals mx plus b. I know slope already is 2, so 2, that is my m value. So plug that in, we now have y equals 2x plus b. So now the only question is, what is b? So to find b, I use this point right here, 1, 3, where x is 1 and y is 3, and I plug that into the equation. So now I have 3 equals 2 times 1 plus b. 2 times 1 is 2, and then subtract the 2 over to the left side to get b equals 1. So this 1 is what I plug in for b right here. So now we have y equals 2x plus 1, and this is my equation. Now let's jump to a level 3 question. So level 3 is the most difficult kind because we do not know the slope or the y-intercept. So I must find both from these 2 points? Well, I know it's going to look like this. The equation will be y equals mx plus b. Now I don't know m or b, but I know the 2 points. And I know that from any 2 points, I can determine the slope with the slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we can find the slope, and we can do that by doing calling this x1 and y1, x2 and y2, and I just plug the numbers in. So y2 minus y1 is 1 minus negative 2, and then x2 minus x1 is going to be 5 minus 1. So 1 minus negative 2, that becomes a plus 2, so that is 3 over 5 minus 1 is 4. So the slope is 3 over 4. So I can plug that in for slope into the slope intercept format. So instead of y equals mx plus b, we have y equals 3/4 x plus b. So at this point right here, this is exactly the same kind of question as a level 2 question, because here we know the slope and we're trying to find the y-intercept, just like a level 2 question. And what we did with level 2 was we simply used a point and plugged it in for x and for y, and we used that to find b. So I can do the same thing here as well. I can pick either point, doesn't matter which one, and plug that in to solve for b. So let's pick this point just because, and we have x is 5 and y is 1. So in place of y I put 1, and in place of x I put a 5. And then I solve this for b. So I do 3/4 times 5, that gives me 15 over 4. And then to solve for b, I just subtract 15 over 4 from both sides. When I do that on the right, this will cancel out. Subtract 15 over 4 on the left side. So now we have 1 minus 15 over 4. Well, I can write 1 as something over 4, and that would actually be 4 over 4. And then from here we can combine. 4 minus 15 is negative 11, and that's over 4. So b is negative 11 over 4, and I can put that in for b up here. So instead of y equals 3/4 x plus b, we have 3/4 x minus 11 over 4. So this here would be my equation. And if you wanted to, you could convert 11 over 4 into a mixed number. That would give you 2 3/4, but this is also okay. And that concludes our lesson for today. We will see you next time.